We must reduce our carbon footprint.
We want to protect the environment as much as possible, not kick it while it's down. So we chose to go by train to France and then after that take the ferry to Ireland instead of flying.
To promote eco-friendly travel, we have to give people the right choices, but we also need to invest in it at a European level.
If I can take the boat or either the train, I find it to be way more enjoyable.
That this is kind of like your propaganda to promote.
Bit of propaganda.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
Just pushing the idea of slow travel, low carbon travel.
Are you doing like comparative studies?
Yeah, I often look at the comparison between air travel and SailRail, and it's about 1/5 of the greenhouse gas emission. Beautiful day in Brussels. Let's see if we can find some nicer weather back in Ireland on our SailRail trip.
I'm on my way to Ireland. I will be taking the ferry from Roscoff to Cork. It used to be reachable by train until 2018, until the flood wiped out the railway line between Morlaix and Roscoff. From Gare du Midi, I'm taking the Thalys to Paris, then taking a TGV to Morlaix in Brittany. I'm also travelling to Ireland with the Irish Green Member of the European Parliament, Ciarán Cuffe. And then at 11 o'clock tonight, the ferry will sail from Roscoff, and that will arrive at 11 o'clock in Cork. As you can see behind me here, it's absolutely pouring with rain. It's going to be a very wet cycle ride, but it's going to be a very interesting day.
Exactly. It's not the most auspicious start.
Getting wetter and wetter with each day.
Anyway, let's go in the dry.
I think the weather will be better in Ireland than in Belgium.
We need to work out which carriage we're in, and so I've got this unofficial app called Railer that should be able to tell us where our carriage is. So we're going to have to go down there.
Okay. So we're on the Calais Eurostar down to Paris. This is a good section of track where we can do almost 300 kilometers an hour. So we're moving fast. We'll be in Lille, I think, in half an hour, and then straight down to Paris in, I think, less than an hour from there. So John, we're on the train down from Paris to Roscoff. We've taken a train earlier from Brussels down to Paris. Now we're heading for the coast where we'll take a ferry to Cork. Why are we doing this?
We want to try to show that actually getting from France to Ireland without flying is actually possible. So we want to have a look. Is it possible to do it by train together with ferry? How easy is it? How much does it cost? How reliable is it? How comfortable is it? And so we're putting it to the test.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, it takes about 12 hours to go from Brussels to Dublin or vice versa. This route from Brussels to Cork, it'll take us about a day, but the carbon footprint will be much lower, 1/6. Or as little as 1/6 the carbon footprint of flying. Right. So it takes a lot longer, but it's a lot less global warming.
There is one particular thing that I'm particularly interested in is the getting actually literally to the port in Roscoff, because you used to be able to take a train more or less right to the ferry in Roscoff until a flood wiped out the railway line in 2018.
And of course these floods and extreme weather events seem to be becoming more common due to climate change.
Yes.
So if we want to try and reduce the incidence of these floods that are taking out infrastructure, we should try and lighten our carbon footprint. We're taking a bus, you're taking your bike.
Here we are, the end of the line. 33 kilometres of cycling from Morlaix, and I'm at the Gare of Roscoff. Maybe there's some hope here. You could reactivate this comparatively easily. There's definite potential. But at the moment, the station is boarded up. A couple of weeks ago, we got the train down to Cork and then the ferry across, and the TGV to Paris, and then TGV down to Bordeaux, and then we're making the return journey now.
We decided to take the train and the boat and the ferry, slow journey across France.
Takes a bit of time, but better for the planet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of connections to put together.
Yeah, we've been very lucky because the train worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is not always the case. I've been traveling quite a bit in France.
Well, hopefully we can improve the connections, and that's something I'm working on at a European level in the European Parliament. And I know my colleague Eamon Ryan, the Minister for Transport in Ireland, is trying to put in place a SailRail ticket to better connect Ireland and France. So, lovely to meet you. I'm sure we'll see each other on the bus and perhaps on the ferry. Jon, we've got to Roscoff. It's been a long trip down from Brussels. It's always a bit challenging, right? I think 20, 30 years ago this was a lot smoother. These kind of connections were made for foot passengers, but now they're very firmly focused on cars and trucks. And I think as a foot passenger, you're down in the pecking order.
Exactly, and it feels a bit that its best days were behind it.
Yeah.
Somehow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, probably built in the 80s actually, I would
Probably.
say. We want rail travel and ferry travel to be invested in, to be made seamless and easy,
Yeah.
just in the same way as air travel is crazily easy these days. So we're arriving in Cork.
Yeah, and it's been a very, very calm crossing. Woke up this morning, saw dolphins out of the window. We have this wonderful view of Cork here behind us, just about to dock. So in that regard, super calm, very pleasant crossing.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of people just don't know that this connection is there.
Right.
And it's a real shortcut across to Brittany, to France.
Just to take the boat, the ferry, because I didn't want it to take the plane because of pollution.
Aside from the, how long the trip will last, I don't think there is any issue.
Travel is also part of the experience, and if you fly, you just get into a machine and you're just there, and then it doesn't feel as much as a real journey for me.
Maybe the costs could be an issue, but aside from that, I don't see personally any issue.
The price tickets was a little expensive in a comparison of a plane ticket.
Something that I think is unfair with the tickets is all the subsidies that airplanes get compared to other modes of travel, so like no tax on the plane fuel and things like that. So I think it makes it difficult for trains and buses and ferries to compete. You should have more taxes on the more polluting things and less taxes on the things which are better for everyone.
There's a SailRail ticket on the Holyhead route, but
Okay.
not on the Cork-Roscoff route.
Right, okay.
So we're trying to push that
Right.
and make it happen,
Brilliant.
and hopefully it will.
I'm going to be cycling towards Cork. I'm going to actually cycle to the Cross River Ferry and then take a train for the last bit.
So we've got to Cork, but it's the port of Cork on the overnight ferry. Now we have to get to Cork City itself. It's going to be about 30 kilometres. Jon has headed off on his fold-out bicycle. I think we've got to get to the village of Ringaskiddy, which is maybe 10 minutes walk away, and hopefully there'll be a bus. So I'm here in Ringaskiddy waiting for the bus to Cork. Obviously one of the things that we need to work on is better connectivity between the ferry and the bus connections, because this means we're waiting for maybe an hour between the ferry arriving and the bus heading into Cork City. We can improve that, and that's one of the things I'll be working on in the months ahead.
I win again.
You win again.
yeah.
What have we learned from our 24 hours of travel? What needs to improve?
The connectivity at the port is very, very important. It's actually too hard to get from Roscoff town to Roscoff port and from Ringaskiddy port to Cork. So that's very, very important.
People were waiting for an hour until the bus arrived, so that's a no-brainer to improve that.
Exactly. You just make sure that one bus a day on that line from Ringaskiddy to Cork is extended to the ferry port.
Meets the ferry.
Right. You've struggled with onboard Wi-Fi on all the trains. Even this one, it's probably the best one we've been on, but still it's not quite right. Wi-Fi?
Yeah, if we're trying to sell rail travel as an opportunity to do work,
Right.
and it's 2023,
Yeah.
you need decent
Right.
Wi-Fi.
It's also been a rather expensive journey.
The price.
Well, the price.
That needs work both at a member state level, at the individual country, and in Brussels. But internationally, aviation gets away almost scot-free from taxes. And that is where we need action at a European level. And I think in the next term of the European Parliament, I think we need to push that. But some good memories. The ship coming into Cork Harbour today.
Exactly.
Cove, the cathedral, looking up the hill. That was magic.
We've had also a really calm and reliable journey. We're here approaching Dublin now and we're calm and relaxed. It has been a joy.
Dear passengers, due to a fault on the railway line, the train service to Dublin is currently interrupted. All passengers are requested to disembark from the train. Alternative buses will be available outside the station to continue the journey to Dublin.
Never dull. The first 1,000 kilometres were great.
Yeah, the last 80.
We're getting there. So long as the bus doesn't break down, we're laughing.
It wasn't the best end of the trip, but we got here and give Irish Rail their due. They managed to put together a rail replacement bus pretty damn quickly. So we've got to give them the credit for that. That's right. Anyway, good night.
So we're back in Dublin after the SailRail experience. Together with Jon, we've seen the ups and downs of the SailRail experience. It's good for the planet. It's about 1/5 of the greenhouse gas emissions. Yes, it can take time. SailRail isn't perfect. We need to get the costs down. We need to make the connections work better. But there's not too many ways of travelling like yesterday when we arrived into Cork Harbour and there was dolphins jumping up in front of the boat. That was pure magic. We need to make this kind of travel better for everyone.